Hi everybody, it's Dave here again today. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a few things after we've done our service like I did in the last video. Some of the things that you might want to carry with you before you go out on a ride. There's quite a few things that you can take with you to help just in case of an emergency. So you've already checked over your sled, you know what everything is, everything's good. Now my snowmobile has a little toolkit here at the front. It's pretty useless, it's right by the vents, it gets filled up with snow and stuff. What I keep in there, I'll always keep a spare jug of 2-stroke oil in case my oil injector messes up. I can always take that little bit of oil, put in my gas tank, and I can make myself safely back home. So you can just keep, just a small 500 ml or even a liter jug of 2-stroke oil in there. And it's in a good spot. It doesn't get too badly in the way of anything there. But if you keep your tools in there, they tend to get covered up in snow. They get rusty and all that kind of stuff. It's not really all that nice. So what I've got here, I've got a little toolbox. So I keep all kinds of different things in here. So a pair of vice grips. Obviously, this little handy thing here, this is a universal wrench. This will fit just about any size nut and bolt that you can think of. It saves you carrying around a whole bunch of different things. So that's a really useful piece of tool. Small nut driver set. It keeps all the different sizes of nuts on here. My snowmobile has 8 and 10 millimeter on the recoil. That's a pretty important part. I can pull apart pretty quick if I have a problem. So I have that. I have a screwdriver set here as well, because you never know if you need a screwdriver or not. Some extra bits in case you drop one, because it happens. I also have a small 8 millimeter wrench. Helps in those tight spots. So that's that. I got my spare plugs because I bought new plugs and put them in. Of course, zip ties. Zip ties are pretty handy. You can do all kinds of stuff with zip ties. If you happen to need to tie anything together that gets loose, you got zip ties you can do that with. Another really important piece of kit, little first aid kit. Doesn't have to be fancy or very much. It doesn't have to stay in the toolkit. It can also go in the tank bag, whatever way you want to do things, wherever you have room. These things are also really cool to have. Sometimes if you're riding too up or your hand warmers quit, it's a really cold day, even throw them in your boots. Keep yourself warm, and they usually stay up in my tank bag as well. In the tank bag, I also, you're not going to see it here today, but I also usually keep a spare set of socks, maybe a spare toque, a t-shirt or something all rolled up into the tank bag there, just in case I get hot, wet, or sweaty, whatever, or I just need to get myself a little extra warmth. You can also keep one of those little emergency blankets that you can get, the little foil things. They can, if you get into trouble, you can wrap yourself with that or make a little makeshift shelter out of the wind or weather. You can keep that in there. They fold up nice and flat. Tank bag is awesome for carrying stuff like that. You can carry snacks in there. I always carry some granola bars and whatnot in there. Maybe even you want to carry some hot chocolate packets or something. You can melt some snow on the trail and make yourself a little bit of a hot chocolate if you want. Another thing that's pretty handy to have, I'll show you here. Heat shrink tube in case you break a wire or somebody you're with breaks a wire. You can fasten the wire back together, use a heat shrink with a lighter, and make a good connection to get yourself home. Some heat shrink connectors as well, butt connectors. You can butt the wires up together so they can all sit in there like that. A lighter is pretty important to have, maybe even two. It depends on what you want to do with it, but one lighter for sure. And I don't have it here with me, but you can also carry some fire starter cubes or something like that in case you need to start a fire to get yourself warm and dry or whatever. That way, they can stay in the tank bag or in your little toolkit here, whatever you want. Emergency light, you can put this behind you, can alert people that you're stopped or disabled on the trail. Another thing that you can carry with you is either a flashlight, just dropped it anyways, a work light, battery operated. Make sure you got fresh batteries in it, keep it in there, that way you can see what you're doing if it's dark. Even one of those lights that fastens around your head. So another thing, you changed into a new belt before the season, right? So you got your belt from last season, carry that with you just in case. If you blow your new belt or somebody you're with is riding a similar machine, at least you're able to get something on there. Hopefully you're not going to be too disabled, you can get out. tow strap or ratchet straps. I carry 2 ratchet straps. I haul my snowmobile in the back of a truck, so I always have ratchet straps. So I just throw 2 of them in the sled with me, in case you can make yourself a winch. If you need to pull yourself out, you can winch yourself out with the ratchet straps. Or if you break one of these things down in here, one of the steering components, you can lash your skis together at the front and at the back. And that way, at least you're able to go in a straight line. You can drive yourself out. You're not going to get anywhere fast, but you can still get yourself out. Fluid film or lock de-icer, because you can spray that if your key switch gets froze or your throttle gets froze. You can spray that on there, free it all up. And that way you're not disabled with that problem. Other than that, I always carry a multi-tool with me as well. Multi-tools are awesome. They got little knives and all that kind of stuff on it. You can do a lot of different things with that. And you can cut wire, you can splice wire, you can cut branches, all kinds of things with a multi-tool. It has everything on there you might want to need. So you carry all those things with you. Make sure obviously that you have your phone fully charged. I also have one of those little USB charging things that you can charge up before you leave. You carry it with you. That way if your battery gets low on your phone or on your camera, if the case may be, you can just plug it in and charge it up. And then you're good to go to keep yourself in touch with people or find your way out using the interactive application with the maps for the trails. So basically that's just a real quick overview of the different things that I carry with me. The toolbox, it sits down in here under there. There's a nice spot for it. It stays dry, it's waterproof, has everything in one spot. I can pick it up and carry it out. It also has a tray at the top. If I'm taking anything apart, I've got a place that I can put little parts. More open here for me. Right in there. You can put little nuts and bolts or screws, whatever in there, so you don't lose them in the snow. So it's a pretty handy little thing. It doesn't cost much. You just buy it at the dollar store. It's only like $2. It can save yourself a lot of grief. And another thing that I carry, drop it over the side here, short piece of rope. This has happened to me. Broken my recoil cord. I'm not electric start. So how do you start your snowmobile with a broken cord on the trail? You have a piece of rope with you. Some of them come with your snowmobile when you buy it new. I didn't buy mine new, obviously, so I got a piece of rope. Your owner's manual is going to tell you how to do this. You got to remove your belt guard, and it'll tell you exactly how to wind it around your primary clutch, and you can clutch start. Now, piece of advice: always wear your helmet with the visor down when you're doing this, and do not wrap the string around your hands. Use your plug wrench if you have one with you, or something else to hold the rope, and you can pull start it that way. There's detailed instructions in your owner's manual telling you how to do that safely, but always wear your helmet with the visor down, because if this thing kicks back up and hits you in the face, you're going to get hurt. Okay, and same likewise too, don't wrap it around your hand, because if it pulls down on you, if it gets wrapped around that clutch, that rope's going to go and take your hand with it. So you don't want that to happen. Be very careful if you're doing it. Follow the instructions in your owner's manual. Read it, review it. If you want, take a picture of it or photocopy it, whatever, so you have some of these important little safety things with you at all the time. You can carry it in your tank bag, saddlebag, whatever you want to do. So basically that's a real quick overview of some of the few things that I carry with me. It doesn't take up a lot of space, add a lot of weight, and they can save you a lot of grief when you're out on the trail with your friends, or if you happen to be by yourself or get separated from your group and you run into trouble. You've always got a way to handle any kind of situation that comes up, pretty much. Okay, and also a spare set of plugs. I mean, you can't carry everything with you, so that's another reason why you carry the ropes with you, or the ratchet straps, in case you do actually have to get towed out, because sometimes you can't get yourself going. And that's why it's always important to let people know where you're going all the time. Keep in touch with people and ride with a group or ride with buddies, whatever you need to do in that respect to be safe. All right, so if there's anybody who has any questions about any of that stuff or any suggestions, always free to let me know and we can talk about it. And in the meanwhile, get ready for the trails, prepare yourself, make yourself ready to go, and be safe.